more tales from the tales from the vault. Okay, so at this time when this story happens, I'm working at the body shop, and it's in a little town called Falcon. A lot of people are kin to each other. Everybody knows everybody. It's a tight community. Nice place to live. And Wade has a family member. He married into the family, but his Uncle Jim, his name's Jim Kirksey. Good dude. He's a good dude. He does know a lot, and he comes across as a know-it-all, or I done it all. And Jim was tougher than light or not. He retired from the military, then he retired from like the post office or somewhere, and they'd already replaced both his hips and both his shoulders. Like the dude was bionic. Work, he'd do whatever he wanted to do, but he would come to the body shop and hang out some days, and he wasn't purposeful about it, but he was critiquing what you were doing. And when you think you're a craftsman and you're doing your best job, the last thing you want is someone to come in and say, I wouldn't have done that like that. You should do that like that. And so it's irritating to me as a young kid because I don't, patience is, my patience probably isn't the best for things like that, but I know not to be mean to this guy because he's kin of the boss, you know, and he's not a bad person. In some ways, I kind of enjoy him coming over because it's going to result in a story or an event, and you get to witness it in real time. So one day, Jim comes to the body shop, and this is before my day, but Keith is Wade's cousin's working with Wade at the body shop with her dad, or maybe it was with his dad. Maybe not have been. His dad may have already passed. But anyway, Kirksey comes in, and Keith's like, I don't want to hear his mouth. He says, I'm gonna fix him. So they were putting a windshield in a car, and when you put a windshield in, you take like tubes of caulk, but it's black urethane because it's that super sticky hard stuff that glues a windshield into a car. And so they were getting ready to we call it laying the bead down. You got to be really on point to put that caulking the right way so it doesn't have an air gap in it. That means the water won't leak inside the car and it holds the glass properly. Well, when Kirksey would come in, he would hang out at this trash can. Wade had these, I've never seen them before, but they were trash cans that were super tall. You would reach over and drop your stuff in them, but they were skinny, so they fit in these nice areas. But for an average dude, they were about like arms high, and Kirksey would rest his weight on it while he talked to you and told you everything you were doing wrong. And so Keith goes over to that trash can and takes that tube of caulk and puts a bead all the way around the top of that trash can. Then he goes and starts working on the windshield, and Kirksey comes in and sits up at the trash can and telling him, I don't like the way that bead looks, y'all should do that better, blah, 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 blah. And Keith is going, yeah, you tell him, Kirksey, you know it all, you know it all. Anyway, Kirksey keeps moving and talking and readjusting or whatever. He has got that black tar stuff all down his arms, all over his chest, all up his sides. And he finally realizes when he lets his arms down that his shirt stuck to his sides or whatever. And he's like, what in the world? And then Keith goes, oh, Jim, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. I had to purge this tube, so I did it on a trash can. You must have got all in it. Because Keith was hoping Uncle Jim stay away. That's the first Kirksey story. Here's the second Kirksey story. So he gets him a 1958 Impala, and he wants Wade to paint it. And Wade says, I ain't got time, but if you'll do the body work, I'll paint it for you. And we really thought that like body work would take this guy a while at his house, like doing it in his backyard. So he'll stay away for a while, and we won't have to paint the vehicle for a while, if ever. So Jim, this is like a Monday. Jim comes back on like Wednesday. His car's ready to be painted. And we're backed up. We got so much going on. And it was not, for the record, it was not close to being ready to be painted. And he said, Wade, I want you to look over it and let me know if there's any spots on it. I'll go fix a few spots. We'll get this thing painted this weekend. Wade took a black Sharpie marker and went out to that car. He said, I circled everything that needed to be fixed. Then I went around and did the same number of circles in random places. I was going to make him go work and stay away for a few days to let us work. So that was Wednesday. Jim had come back Friday morning, had all these spots fixed, ready for it to be painted, and it was the wrong time to put it on Wade, and Wade goes, Jim, I'll be here in the morning at 6 o'clock. That car better be here. It better be taped up. You better have every bit of paint you need, everything. I'll get the car painted. And Wade wasn't being mean, but he was being stern, like, because Lord knows we got so much going on at the time. Sure enough, Kirksey's there the next morning. The car's halfway taped up. Wade does a couple things and finished taping it up, helping him out. Put it in the paint booth. Wade goes to start painting it. No paint will stick to this car. Because you drive the car straight into the paint booth, Wade works at the trunk and he's going to work his way down the car to the front bumpers, or where the front bumpers would be. Every time Wade's trying to put paint on the car, it rejects, it rolls off, it will not stick to the car, it runs down like water. Normally, this is from like an Armor All or a silicone based product being on the car and it not being properly cleaned before you try to paint it. So, and we have final wipe solutions called Prep-Sol that would allow you to, any last second contaminants would allow you to wipe it off. Because even your fingerprints, the body oil in your skin, if you touch the car, could result in the same thing if there's enough oil in your skin. So, Wade wipes the car down, lets it dry for a second, goes back, starts painting it, still won't stick. Goes back, wipes again, lets it dry, takes paint gun, still won't stick. Wade's like, Jim, I don't know what's going on, man. I have no idea why. What have you done? Have you Armor All this car? No, I've not Armor All this car. No, sir. You got to paint it. Okay. So Wade gets some other special chemical stuff and wipes the car down and finally gets it where it'll start sticking paint. The paint will start adhering to it. And he sprays the whole car, clear coats it, everything. It sits in the paint booth Saturday. And Sunday, they get the car out. Wade goes over to the body shop, even though it's his day off, help Kirksey because he's so anxious about the car. Get the car out, whatever. They untape it, get the car out of the shop. Wade takes, is either a screwdriver or a key and opens the trunk lid up. When he opens the trunk lid up, the spare tire has been mounted in that trunk. And Kirksey had Armor All everything inside that trunk and that spare tire so it looked pretty. And Wade's livid. He's like, Jim, did you Armor All this tire? Yeah, it needed to look good. He said, did it not occur to you that when we're painting it, that was just going to work against us? No. He said, didn't I ask you if you had Armor All this car? That's why we're having so much problems. He said, I didn't. I didn't Armor All the outside. I Armor All the inside. So yeah, oh man, that was another one. Jim's gone now. He was a good guy, but what crazy stories.